Hi, everybody, and welcome to our Telarus Tuesday call for July 16th, 2019. Today marks 50 years since the launch of the successful Apollo 11 mission. Astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins lifted off a half century ago today, beginning the mission that would put two men on the moon just 4 days later. It's perhaps the greatest feat that American science and technology have ever achieved, and it's fascinating to look back and salute the determination and the bravery involved, especially given the science and the technology of the time. Hey, I used to own a Mustang from that era, and I loved that car, but wouldn't necessarily want to take it to the moon. I remember being glued to the TV that week for the launch, the landing, the moonwalk, and perhaps equally impressive, the safe return of those astronauts. If you were born after that time, take a moment this week to learn about that historic event. It will inspire you and make you even prouder to be part of the technology industry. Congratulations to all who were part of this pivotal event in American history. I'm Doug Miller, the voice of Telarus, and today I'll be joined by our friends from Call One, coast-to-coast communications technology with end-to-end service. Today we are in for a lively presentation and discussion around Call One's unified communications solution. Your clients' teams can communicate and collaborate from anywhere. Call One UC is a customizable, cloud-based communications solution with advanced functionality and centralized control, and it's custom built for your clients' needs. Today's Call One presentation with Gabe Rosalis and Jason Spulak is coming up in just moments. On last week's Telarus Tuesday call, we were joined by Mark Zitkowski, the president of RapidScale, and we discussed cloud computing, the number one option for improving IT efficiencies in businesses of all sizes. We learned through actual case studies how to win cloud opportunities on the back of traditional UC sales, and learned how the channel is leveraging IT as a service with products and services complementary to UC and network. It was a tremendous presentation, great questions and comments from you, our partners. You can see that presentation anytime it's in your Telarus partner back office. Also on last week's call, we reintroduced an existing Telarus supplier, much about which you may not have known. It's Your6, industry leaders in providing cloud surveillance and access control solutions. Your6 focuses on cybersecure IoT and physical security solutions. Your6 joined us Tuesday for their relaunch of the partnership and conducted a full-on training session on Wednesday. You can hear both of those sessions. Those recordings are both in your Telarus partner back office. As always, we invite you to move to the center of each aisle, refrain from any photography or video recordings, never spill spot remover on your dog, and please log in to the video link and live chat platform to see all of today's valuable information and to submit your questions and comments for today's presenters. Here we go. Each week we update our President's Club opportunities, and whoa, Nelly, it simply gets better every week. Our suppliers continue to help make it easy for you to qualify for this year's Telarus President's Club Award. We will be taking qualifying partners next March to an amazing getaway at the all-inclusive Secrets Vallarta Bay Resort in beautiful Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. There are so many ways to qualify for this experience. You can either sell a combined 100K in MRR through any of our Telarus suppliers, or sell a specified amount with one of the individual sponsoring suppliers shown here on your screen. There are some terrific and very easy ways to qualify for the trip. Don't miss this opportunity to join Telarus next year in Puerto Vallarta for the 2019 President's Club. And we are just 3 weeks away now from our 8th annual Telarus Partner Summit, the premier event for Telarus partners. Hundreds of partners and suppliers will meet in Aurora, Colorado at the brand new Gaylord Rockies Luxury Resort, August 7th through 10th. Our single goal for this multi-day conference is to train and empower our partners to be the go-to technology experts that their clients need. That is how you grow your business in today's technology marketplace. This year, our event features a Top Gun theme, where the best come to learn the sales tactics needed to become dangerous to their competition. We're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Top Gun, the U.S. Navy Strike Fighter Tactics Instructor Program, and we will offer a fleet of training sessions focused on charting a course for technology transformation. This year's keynote speakers include Top Gun co-founder Captain Dan Pedersen, who helped reshape the nation's military strategy for generations to follow. Also, Captain Charlie Plum, who flew the first adversarial flights in the development of what would become Top Gun, and he spent 6 years as a POW. Helping us sponsor this year's event are more than 70 of our suppliers. There is no better place to meet one-on-one with executives and channel chiefs from our suppliers and from your Telarus team to strategize together about growing your business. Plus, we've got dine-arounds, exhibits, panels, many other ways to learn. There's no better way to find out what Telarus and our suppliers offer and how to best engage with all of our resources. Also at Partner Summit, our popular casino night with a new Telarus technology reveal. It will change the way you do business. Epic training, including work with our engineers on the hottest industry technologies, so much more. Not to mention more than $10,000 in prizes and a raffle among all attendees for a Peloton bike at the event's end. The awards banquet takes place Friday night. You got to be there to win the bike. And then stay on Saturday for an incredible and adventurous networking activity of your choice. Now, registration continues, but there are only a few rooms remaining at the Gaylord at the special Telarus rate. You have to book by this Friday to get that rate. Those rates go up after Friday. So check out the Telarus Partner Summit and register this week. You can do so at telarus.com/PS, as in Partner Summit. And we'll see you in August for this incomparable event. All right, our weekly calendar of upcoming local and regional events. We continue to travel the country featuring opportunities and events which help educate and involve our partners with our fast-growing and changing industry. This week, our Telarus security boot camps are coming up. With the advent of cloud solutions and all of their associated benefits, also comes the need for special attention to security. You'll learn about the responsibilities of both providers and users and the best ways you can take advantage of this immense and growing market. Your clients need to discuss security, and the Telarus Security Bootcamp will prepare you to do so successfully. Today, our Security Bootcamp is in Portland at the Top Golf in Hillsboro, Oregon, from 10 until 2. You'll hear from the experts at Cato Networks, RSI and their CyberCompass product, and Verizon Business. Then this Thursday, July 18th, the Security Bootcamp is set for our Northern California partners at K1 Karting in Dublin from 10 until 2. At this session, we're going to hear from the pros at AT&T Business, Nitel, and Consolidated Communications. And tomorrow, Wednesday, Telarus will be in Houston, Texas for a special Tech Talk event featuring Crown Castle and Mitel. From 3 until 6 tomorrow afternoon, we'll be at the Tasting Room in Houston to learn about big data with Crown Castle and find out about Mitel's newest partnership with Google Cloud Platform and TalkDesk. This will be a tremendous event with happy hour and networking to follow, and the first 15 partners to attend receive a custom-tailored shirt with your company's logo. Great events this week. You can see our full schedule with all of Telarus' upcoming opportunities and register or RSVP at telarus.com events. My favorite part of the call, our recognition piece. We have 2 partners to recognize today who have put up some of the top sales during the week and given us permission to mention them on our call. In second place, we congratulate our longtime friend and partner, Blake Darling, and his team at Complete Communications here in Salt Lake City, Utah. The Complete Communications team closed a tremendous sale of fiber Ethernet services from Telstra. to a client in the automotive industry. Terrific sale, Blake. Congratulations from all of us here at Telarus. Taking the top position, however, this week, our congratulations go out to Jolene Langford and Melanie Durazzo. They are the team at Athena Solutions, LLC, out of Tigard, Oregon. The Athena team posted an outstanding sale of managed services from Quest Technology Management to a client in the financial services industry. Phenomenal sale. It is our top Telarus sale of the week. They helped us kick off the third quarter in an amazing way. We thank all of our partners for continuing to trust Telarus with their business. Telarus is built for you. On our training calendar this week, we've got 4 excellent opportunities to make you aware of. Tomorrow, Thursday, beginning at noon Eastern Time, calling an audible here, Effortless teaches us about the dark side of working from home. Actually, it's not that dark at all. Studies have shown that people working remotely are more productive, better at collaborating, and more present than their office-bound counterparts. They tend to smell not as good, though. In this special Effortless training session, we'll learn about some of the pain points faced by remote workers and how the right technology can relieve them. Can't do anything about the smell, but enhance those remote workers by joining this Effortless office training. It happens tomorrow at noon from Effortless. And then also tomorrow, we've got the Ruby Receptionist's Office Hours training event. It begins at 1 p.m. Eastern. This is your chance to chat with the Ruby Receptionist team about new features, tips and tricks, and much, much more. Ruby Receptionist training happens tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. Then on Thursday, Call One presents special Telarus partner-only training, an in-depth presentation on the Call One difference. Now, you'll hear from Call One today, but this special Thursday event, deep dive on products, services, and strategies, will begin at 11 a.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss that. Then on the Evolve IP training that you see there at the top of your screen, I actually show that as being Friday at noon Eastern. On the board here, we've got it Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll check that. But in your Telarus back office, you can see all of our planned trainings this week. Plan to join Evolve IP for a deep dive presentation. This is for any partner interested in quickly identifying new cloud opportunities and effectively positioning Evolve IP as the solution. You'll learn the key drivers pushing customers to prospects to the cloud and how to capitalize on those needs with Evolve IP's products and services. Evolve IP training, it happens this week. Check your partner back office for details on these and many other live and recorded learning opportunities. And each week we pass along some of the newest and best spiffs and promotions being offered by our suppliers. Here are 3 such incentives to consider. First up, from Nextiva, take advantage of the Nextiva July Spiff, where you can earn up to 4x spiffs. Just sell any Nextiva hosted voice order at $200 MRC or greater, you'll get a 2x spiff. But if you add on device as a service or any special discounted phone, there's another 1x spiff available. And finally, do a 12-month prepaid deal, you'll get another 1x spiff to boot. That totals 4, count them, 4x. It's a July-only event, so you want to close those Nextiva opportunities now to get up to 4x in spiffs from Nextiva. And next up, from Jive. This summer, you can let Jive do the work, and you can enjoy a 5x spiff and offer free phones, too. Just register an opportunity in the new Jive Partner Exchange portal and work that deal with your Jive AE. From demo to close, they're available for you. Close the deal with the new 36-month contract with 2 standard pricing tiers and up to 2 free months of service. You can even sweeten that deal by giving away free hardware, any one of 3 Yealink, Polycom, or Cisco models. And then just relax and enjoy your 5x spiff. It's an outstanding offer from Jive. Finally, from Vonage, empower your clients with customer experience differentiation, because with great CX superpowers come greater rewards. Now through September, you'll earn up to a 5x MRR bonus. The offer goes like this. You get a 2x MRR on all deals with a minimum 1-year agreement, or earn a 4x MRR on deals with a minimum 2-year agreement. If that deal includes contact center seats, you get another 1x. That's a potential 5x MRR bonus when you help your clients differentiate themselves with Vonage CX superpowers. Not bad. These and many more fantastic deals from our suppliers can all be found, of course, at promo.telarus.com. Well, as previously advertised, our featured presentation on today's call is from Call One, coast-to-coast communications technology with end-to-end service. Today, we will be discussing Call One's unified communications solution. Your clients' teams can communicate and collaborate from anywhere. Call One UC is a customizable, cloud-based communications solution with advanced functionality and centralized control. And I can't emphasize it enough, it is custom built for your client's need. Gabe Rosalis is the Director of Channel Sales at Call One. Jason Spulak is the Product Manager, and they are both here today to teach us how to help clients integrate their communications with Call One UC. Jason, Gabe, welcome to our Telarus Tuesday call. How are you guys?
Good morning. Doing well, thanks.
Glad to have you here. This is going to be an exciting presentation. UC, of course, one of our hottest product sets right now. Sometimes one of the most difficult for our partners to wrap their heads around in terms of how do I present this to our clients, how do we ascertain their needs. But with a product like Call One's UC solution, it becomes much easier. Tell us a little bit more.
Sure. I think, Gabe, you might be on mute there.
Gabe, do we still have you there?
Yep. There we go. Sorry, I was muted on the... There we go. I had double mute. I had my box muted and my presentation muted. Thanks for the time. We really appreciate it. Doug, it's going to be a tough act to follow. Yeah, but we will do our best. So like I said, I'm Gabe Rosalis. I run the channel for Call One, and then we have Jason, who is our product manager for UC. Just want to kind of go through a overview. Obviously, on Thursday's call, we'll get a little more of a deep dive, and I invite anybody that'd like to see a demo, obviously reach out to us afterwards, and we can do the demonstration and take a deeper dive. But today I really want to just go through a high level aspect of who Call One is and what we do for our customers and our agents, and then kind of who is our ideal customer and where do we fit the best. So with that, we'll get started. And if you have any questions, me and Jason will be happy to take them. So basically for Call One, we run a meta switch platform, and we want to integrate your communications from a collaboration all the way from the session tool you see today, all the way up to C3. We're taking what we call a modern day CLEC approach. So we're about a $70 million company, 150 employees, and we try to, like Doug said, customize solutions for our customers. Sometimes with some of the bigger companies, you find that you have to work in their box, where we want to come out and really try to find what's best for your customer and then implement that situation. You go to the next slide. So for us, every account that we do UC on, they will have a project manager. And I think it's important to understand where these project managers come from. A lot of companies say, we're going to give you a project manager. Our project managers have been with the company anywhere from 2 to 20 years. So Call One was founded in '96. So we've been around for a long time, and we've made it through the '99s, the '08s, and we've continued to provide service to our customers. And that's why we continue to stay in business and do the things we do. We've just recently, in the last 2.5 years, reached out to the national channel. So we built our business basically on a regional model and a direct model. Today, we reach out to the national channel, and we have no direct sales force. So everything we do as a company is geared towards the agent community. Our project managers have installed, and one time we were one of ShoreTel's largest on-prem phone system providers. And we did Cisco Call Manager, we did ShoreTel Hosted, and now 5 years ago, we bought these meta switches and we run our own UC. So for us, that's important to understand that these people have done this before. They're not just project managers that come in and say, hey, we're gonna run a project. They've done 1,000-seat deployments. They've done 500 location deployments of ShoreTel on-prem systems, Cisco Call Manager, Cisco iWAN. They're very much educated on the ins and outs and the do's and the don'ts of what a hosted system is versus the old key system or the on-prem system. Okay, next slide. So we can basically, at any point, we can go from the basic user all the way to the C3 user. And I think that's a big differentiator for us, because a lot of times when you do UC and you want C3, you have to go with 2 different companies and you have to sell your customer on 2 different companies. Another reason a lot of people are choosing us in the over-the-top UC environment is because we can bring other products in later, and which we'll dig into Thursday. But if you come in and sell UC over the top with call 1, and then their network comes up, we can also supply that very competitively, right? So you don't have to then resell another company to your customer. You can say, oh yes, your UC provider, they can also do your network, and that's backup internet, primary internet, LTE failover, cable, DSL, whatever the customer calls for, and then also an SD-WAN play. So as you sell this UC over the top, it then gives you different ways to make revenue on that customer at a later date with an easier sales cycle. Instead of saying, hey, I've sold company A, now I'm going to sell you company B for network and company C for SD-WAN. Once they're comfortable with call 1 and we've done a great job on the UC, we can come in and sell them network and SD-WAN, also offering you a better way to increase your revenue. So now the next slide is really going to talk about what our price points are, and we feel like they're very, very competitive. Jason did a very good job going out in the industry and finding these points. So we want to keep it simple. So 2 seats. We have a basic seat, which is basically your break room seat, caller ID, multiple line appearance, speed dial, short codes, call, hold, transfer, basic features, right? This would be your break room, someone that's not a heavy user. And then 95% of our people are going to fit into this UC standard box. So this is your shared line appearance, your UC app, your mobile desk client, video chat, desk phone customization, and that includes the phone at $22.95, the VVX250. So we use a Polycom brand. Now we've also just released the Voyager Pro headset that's 5200 that I use and you're hearing me today talk on. So it's a very good Plantronics 5200 series. You can do that for $24.95 as people move away from having phones on their desk. But this standard product will fit, like I said, 90 to 95% of what your customers do. Now, each customer is different, right? And each user within that customer is different. So we can start with the standard, and then on the next slide, you can see what our add-on services are. So we can do the eFax, we can do cloud contact center, right? We can come up and do the queues and do everything they need for a call center. We can do POTS lines. We can do add-on session meetings like you're seeing today from collaboration, soft console, you know, and basically do everything that customer needs and provide each seat as needed, right? So you don't have to say, oh, I need contact center, so I have to buy a UC provider, then go do a contact center. Another great thing about our contact center is it's how many people are on at one time, not how many licenses they need. So if it's 400 people in a call center, but only 100 are going to be on at a time, you don't have to buy 400 licenses. And that's been a big victory for us and helped us win a lot of contact center deals. Next slide. So our model here is discover, design, deliver. So what we would like to do is get a call together with any customer, have your channel manager, myself, Jason, or one of our sales engineers on, and understand what they want to do. Why do they want to go hosted? Where do they want to go? And how can we help replicate their business the way it's run today in a better fashion? Because a lot of people have that fear of moving from a key system to a hosted system, or from their Cisco UC to a different type of call center. So we want to understand what they're trying to accomplish. And that's the discover part that happens with me and the sales engineer and Jason. And then we go back and we design that solution. So maybe today they're not ready for UC. Great, we can give them SIP trunks until they're ready for UC, right? We can get them out and get them what they need to be at whatever time they need. So we have different options. We're not just a UC provider. So if we have to come in, same thing with SD-WAN, for instance. If they're not ready to go to SD-WAN, we can give them IP circuits in the middle of a contract, flip them over to SD-WAN boxes, or give them an MPLS circuit, flip that over to IP. And that's because we have the facilities based around the country, because we are a modern day CLEC, like I said. And then deliver is really based upon our project management team, our NOC that is on the network with your customer. We drop an AdTran device out there with PRTG analytics on it. So when your customer calls in and has a problem, we eliminate that kind of finger pointing, right? We can get into their router. We can see if there's jitter or latency on the circuit. We can run reports. We can send that to them. So if we don't have the circuit, they can go back to their provider and say, hey, look, we have jitter latency. That's why these calls are dropping, instead of the UC provider blaming the carrier and the network, and the network provider blaming the UC provider. And then our NOC is obviously all Call One employees, all based in Chicago, and 24/7 by 365. Next slide. So we did a couple customer profiles. I did one with a single location, and I did one with multiple locations. But the first one we're talking about was an architecture firm, right? They're downtown Chicago. We went in there and they had an outdated phone system, right? But they had sunk money into it, and they were, still trying to get that ROI. We spent a lot of money on this system. We still want to get, the ROI, but they started seeing that they were losing business because they had the inability to support mobile workers, remote workers, and many of the workers were coming in and out and working from home. And so this was just not a good feature for them. So we had a national channel manager go in there, understand what are the what if scenarios regarding risk, growth, technologies, and then we designed a solution for them. And we did that through a demo with our Call One sales engineer and a deep dive into the UC. So they could basically tell us, yes, we need this, we don't need that. Yes, we want our auto attendant to do this. Yes, we want our auto attendant to do that. And then the deliver part is our project management team does that. They've built hundreds of these, right? They build the auto attendant trees. They'll even do the recordings for you. And we have end user training videos like many of the carriers do. And then we can also get boots on at their office to do in-person trainings. But the difference here, we feel, is the deliver aspect. There's a lot of good reasons for a customer to go from an on-prem system to a UC system. And I think we're all pretty much familiar with those, but that's the easy part. Selling the deal is the easy part. Explaining the benefit is the easy part. The hard part is actually delivering that in a way that makes the customer happy with the installation, right? We all know how installations can go, especially when you're not just installing an internet circuit, but you're changing the way they do business, right? They may have had a key system where they could just yell across the office, hey, Doug, pick up the phone. Now they're having to do different things like star 66 and transfer. But if you can set those expectations correctly and train them correctly, it's actually a better way to do business. And I think that's where a lot of the UC providers fall off, is they ship a phone and they kind of the set it and forget it method. With us, we have a project manager. That project manager is the one person that handles from signature to install date. Once that's done, you then have an account relations manager, much like you used to have with a lot of the old CLECs before they merged. You have an account relationship manager that can handle questions for you, that can look at bills, do bill reviews. If you have questions later, like how do I transfer? I need to set up an email. I need to do this. You can get a hold of that account manager who can liaise throughout the company to make sure you get the answers you want. So this was a one location deal, basic, customer saying, hey, our phone system's outdated. We need mobile apps. We need better auto attendants, and we don't want to own our phones anymore. Right? We're tired of having to update our phone system. We're tired of having to buy new phones. And with the Call One product, you can change phones month to month. So if you have the 250 today and you say, okay, we're about to have a busy season, I need the 450 for 2 months, that's fine. We bill you the extra $2 a month. You send that phone back and we have the 450. So these phones, the customer never owns them. If they break, anything like that, they send them back and we can replace them at any time. Next slide. Next slide. Did I lose you guys? There we go. Oh. All right. So the second case study there was a public school, very similar situation, right? An old on-prem system, 7,400 users, right? We have a lot of, if you go back, there you go. The IT department was overwhelmed, as you see a lot of customers are. Sometimes the IT department is the last one to get resources, right? So you'll walk into these customers that have 10, 20 locations and 200-300 users, and there's one IT guy, and he looks like he hasn't slept in 4 months. And some of you guys may be that for your customer, right? So the big thing was getting out of the phone system business. They wanted to have a growing list of needs to support their students and their staff, and they had a slim budget, right? And as you know, changes in E-rate funding happened, right? And it amplified it. It used to get the phones as part of it, and now it's been cut back a little bit more, and it's not as easy to deliver that. So they had 925 employees, 9 facilities across the IASBO, which is the Illinois Association of School Boards. That is, we are their preferred provider. We came in, we proposed a cloud UC solution. It allowed them to do OpEx versus CapEx, which is a better fit for their budget. And then the older the building became reachable using VoIP services, improving access to 911 services. So this is a big thing, as you guys know, if you deal with schools, is they have to have 911 services to each room. With this old phone system, they didn't have those capabilities. And so that was a big, big selling point for them, that we could do that and actually get out there and install and train their team and key personnel to understand what was happening and how to use that phone system before the school year started, right? So the admins, the people that were doing and transferring calls, I don't know if you've ever, I have an 8-year-old, and I sat in the office for about 30 minutes one day, and they answered about 90 calls in 30 minutes and transferred them all over the place. So understanding how to do that and coming from an old key system to a new UC platform, in the end, they loved it, but I firmly believe if it wasn't for the way we deliver our services, if they would have had a big company kind of set it and forget it, they would probably still be having problems on how to transfer a call and how to run a call. And that's really where you're going to see us differentiate ourselves, is the actual delivering of the service. And I can't emphasize that enough, because a lot of times there is a ton of noise in the UC space. And we're bringing a lot of the same options and features that everyone else is bringing. And those options and features are very good, and that's why everybody has them. But if you can't relay those to the end user, then they're really just bells and whistles that the customer never uses. So you have to understand, what is the customer going to use? What are the 3 things that they're really going to use? Sometimes they may never use the online portal. But man, if they are, or one of those users are, we need to make sure they understand it, how to change passwords, how to reset auto attendance, how to reconfigure forwarding and things of that nature. And that's really where you're going to see a difference with us versus some of the bigger carriers. Next slide. Why we are number 1 for our partners. That's our marketing slide. All right, the foam finger. Let's go to the next one. So the installation, the project management, and then every solution for one strong partner. So that's really, obviously the UC space is very crowded, has a lot of noise, but when you start to understand, okay, I want someone that can bring me in a quality UC product, a quality C3 product, a quality and competitive network pricing, and an SD-WAN, as well as POTS, cable, and a DSL backup, all on one bill with one customer, that's where you start to kind of lose carriers, right? A lot of carriers can bring UC over the top, but then you ask them about SD-WAN, and they're going to refer you to another carrier. Or you ask them about a competitive network price, oh, we don't get paid on network, so we don't want to sell it, so go sell AT&T or go sell whoever that may be. That's where we're really going to differentiate ourselves. Obviously, the installation and the project management of the UC is going to be a big differentiator, because we are a smaller, more nimble company. But then when you start to look at multiple products for one customer over multiple locations, this is where we really, really, really try to separate ourselves. Next slide. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. You can reach out to this number or send an email. We would love to do a demo of our C3 products or our UC products. If you have any deeper questions, you can reach out to myself or Jason. Thanks for your time.
Gabe, great presentation today. We're thrilled that you guys are on the Tuesday call, where you're excited to hear more about Call One. I have to say, though, with those constant interruptions from Jason, let me get this in, let me get that in. It was just almost impossible to get anywhere with your presentation today. So, Jason, let me start with you.
Yeah, I can go on the side of verbose, so I wanted to make sure that, get this stuff out there without stomping.
Doug, we only have 15 minutes, so I had to do the talking.
That's
Jason
right.
was going for 2 hours about UC.
I understand completely. No, Jason, let me talk with you for just a second, because appreciate the presentation, but the fear of migration that Gabe talked about as you get into this is something that our partners see every day among their clients. There is a very real reluctance to take a serious look at some of these new technologies. If you don't mind, talk just for a minute about why that is and how we can most easily assure our clients that this is something not only that they need to do, but that they want to do.
Yeah, I think for the biggest reason, it's fear of the unknown. You get really comfortable in doing what you're doing and conducting business in a certain way. And it's one thing to change out, like a MyTel for a ShortTel system, like for premise system. But when you're actually talking about forklifting and uplifting your services from one platform to a completely new technology, like moving into cloud, you're looking at a proposition that's a little bit more difficult for people to get their heads around. Not only are we changing platforms, but this information that I hold so dear used to sit in between my 4 square walls. Now it's out in somebody else's space. And letting go of that is something that is really difficult for people to do, especially if they got concerns with HIPAA, PCI. We've got answers for a lot of those things, right? So making sure that we understand the questions and concerns of each customer, that's where we get in the discover, design, deliver phase. You know, what is it, what's most important to you, and what fears do you have about this? And we can kind of talk about those things and make sure that we can address any concerns that you might have. You know, Gabe talked a little bit about, you know, customization. He did a really great job there. We had that slide where we show, you know, the services that we have available now. That list is going to continue to grow. You know, I envision that being, as the product continues to grow and mature, like the Call One app store. And why do I look at it that way? Because I think that for us to be really successful, for you to be really successful with your customers, you have to have a partner that understands that the UC space is wide open and there's a lot of people fighting over, you know, the same pieces of the pie. But where we understand where we're at, where Call One knows where we're at, we're not going to bring a lot of the new to the world stuff. We're not on the low end tier of just providing basic services with no features. We know there's a lot of features out there, but which ones are most important to our customers? And to do that, every day I'm doing research to not only identify at a macro level what the business needs, but at an individual level. And the way we do that is I kind of go in and look at different personas. What are each type of users? Within this business, which type of users do you have, and what different services can I have and assemble around these type of users to make this adoption a much more pleasant proposition? You know, a lot of times when you hear implementations coming in and people say, oh, you know, this stinks, I don't like the way this works. Oftentimes that's reaction is because they feel that a decision was made without them making any consideration towards why they're doing this in the first place. But if we come in and say, hey, you know what, we understand that you use technology in this way. This is what's going to help you do your job. Use these piece parts and applications. Now all of a sudden you're speaking to that individual and you get a greater bit of adoption, you know, out of that. So that was a long way around, I think, answering your question, but I think you had to understand kind of all of that to understand where I'm kind of trying to lead this platform.
I think it's true. Gabe, you talked a little bit about the fact that Call One is not necessarily the biggest player in this market. It's more of a mid-sized company, and that's really a point of pride with you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to get back to that CLEC feel, right? I mean, I've been in the industry for about 15 years, and I've always worked for CLEC. And you know, when you go into a customer, you know, you get the old stories about how they love the old Paytech and the old TW Telecom, and because people answered the phone and they could talk to people and they weren't treated like a number. That's really what we're replicating, and we've been doing it for over 20 plus years. So for us now, we're taking that to the national level, and we're taking it to the channel, and our partners really respect that, because I think it's about accessibility. You can call me and I can get on the phone with the VP of operations, and we can stand on desk of the Lex and say, we need these circuits installed, and we can make real change happen. And I don't know if you have that with some of the bigger carriers, and it's a big point of pride for us. We're bringing that CLEC feel across the nationwide platform.
And I think you made the point well that when a customer is considering a wholesale change in what it is that they have done for so long, there has got to be a responsive team available to back this up. And at every point in this entire process, Call One is staying in close contact with the partner and with the customers. There's a collaboration that's going on to build a customized solution, and then ongoing support after the fact.
Yeah, we really aim to make life better for everybody. I mean, if you're providing features that will make the customers' lives better, but those features are really difficult to procure and engineer on our back end, you know, you're going to have some frustration in the implementation teams, which eventually spills its way out. We look at each opportunity that we have. We like to solve problems. We like to understand what your pain points are with what your current solution is, and provide solutions around those. And those solutions, we take a great deal of time to make sure that before they're ready to go out and be consumed by the community, we know that we can deliver them repeatedly in a way that makes it easier from start to finish to consume through, you know, the initial inception to the end of that useful life. So,
Jason, you brought up earlier the fact that so many industries today are facing changing regulations. We talk often about HIPAA in the medical industry. Retail industries are constantly facing new regulations. Technology industries, legal industries, all of these are dealing with changing and increasing regulations. How responsive can Call One solution be to those different industry needs?
I think it's a balance of being responsive and being responsible. So you kind of have to understand where it's going. You can advise customers that this is actually what's happening. And if we take a look what's going on with robocalling in the industry, you know, I was attempting to write a blog, you know, over a week, 3 different times, because the rules kept changing. The FCC was saying this, telecom providers are doing this. The communication of what was going to be expected by the providers was changing on a daily basis. So what we can say is, here are the things that are happening in the industry. Here's the things that could happen. Here's how we can plan around those things to make sure you don't wind up in a bad situation.
Single biggest reason that clients should be considering moving away from premise-based solutions and into the cloud, what would you say?
Most people want to get out of the phone business, and when you talk to the IT staffs, I go out and meet with them all the time. This is just, it's one of the banes of their existence. It's something that they don't know well. Whenever there's a problem with it, it's a huge headache, and it's a big pressure cooker to get it resolved. When after we make this transition and we show people just how little equipment you have in your closet and how we've backed up that service, not only with your primary connection, we've got 4G cradle points to back up that connection. And oftentimes when you do fail over, the customer doesn't even know. It's that rock solid. So once we go through all those things, that's they understand just how big of an impact, how much of a value it brings into their days.
But Gabe, to take the other point of view from Jason there, even though we're essentially asking clients and preparing them to lose some of the control that they've had over the physical equipment, they're not losing control over the communications and the collaboration themselves. They're really consolidating that by moving that equipment offsite. We still centralize the control with the customer, correct?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep. So you use the portals. I mean, basically what it does for me and what it does for what I see it doing for the IT staff is being able to sit anywhere and control that, right? So they don't have to, it's a Saturday, the call center is working, something's going on with the phone system. They don't have to drive into the office, look at the phone system. They can sit anywhere, grab the web-based portal, and start to understand what's going on. A password needs reset. They don't have to do that. They can do that from a web-based portal. So while it's taking away the physical equipment, I think the control level and the accessibility becomes even greater, right? You have the ability to access that anywhere.
Absolutely.
And you also offer built-in business continuity. Customers don't need to worry about what happens in the event that there is a disaster of some sort. Explain how that works.
Sure. So
for us, I mean,
go ahead,
Jason.
I was just going to say, so we've got pops across the country, and what we're really saying is, when I say get out of the phone business, I mean exactly, pulling that equipment up, pulling that strain of having to maintain that voicemail server or that card in the system that can go down, or the myriad of things that can happen when you're responsible for that. When you move that up into the cloud, into our data centers, you have now the protection of a service provider. The same switch that provides all of our SIP trunking, all the other services that we do, is what provides those UC services. So if there is any sort of trouble, it would affect we have a high degree of integrity in our systems and the architecture of our systems to make sure that no matter what's happening, if there's a fire, let's say in your office, you can move over to a temporary space and still be receiving all of your calls. So what happens at the local level is not going to impact your business, because so long as you have an internet connection, you can get back to your business from anywhere.
And going along with that, yeah, go ahead, Gabe.
I'll just take that a step further. Once everybody installs with us, we get an emergency number. So if, let's say, God forbid, a disaster does happen at that location, and I try to call that main number, within the system, you have an emergency number. So your customer's not going to get a busy signal, right? So that's I think the biggest thing that changes everything. So if I have a natural disaster and all the power's down there, that phone system's down. With the UC product, it all happens at the data center. So at the switches. So if that number's not registering, it'll automatically ring to an emergency number. That can be an auto attendant. It could be someone's cell phone. It could be another office. So for that disaster recovery piece, you're always going to have the ability for your customer to get through to somebody and not project a busy signal, right? And I think in the competitive environment of all businesses today, if you're busy, I'm hanging up and calling the next guy, right? And I think that takes that away from that customer's portfolio. When you have the UC platform, we can point those numbers from the switch anywhere they want, even if your site is underwater.
Well, you could even take it even a step simpler than that. So if you look at, we propose two bundles: the basic, which gets you your courtesy phones and your lunchroom phones, and the standard that includes, a phone, but it also includes the soft client and the mobile client. So if you have a power outage at your building, you can fire up your cell phone and sign in with your ID, and you're taking calls just like you'd be taking calls at your desk. With our our cloud contact center platform, it's the same thing. It's all DID driven. So if you can't get to your building. If you can't get in, you could sign in with your cell phone number as an agent and still have calls queued the exact same way you were if you were sitting at your desk. You know, we had a situation over the winter here in Chicago where we had, you know, the polar vortex. It was literally too dangerous for us to leave. The roads were covered in ice, the trains, the switches were all down. You couldn't get here. But that our customers didn't notice that. As a service provider in Chicago, that's not an answer that we're closed. So our agents that weren't able to make it downtown were able to flip over, sign in with their DIDs remotely, and still take calls. Our customer base had no idea that we were never in the building downtown that day. That's what we mean by when we say business continuity. Despite what happens around you, we still have a way to get your service to you.
So hand in hand, of course, with that is the selling feature that all of this is mobile enabled. You can be on your laptop, you can be on your iOS device, your Android device, doesn't matter. All of this functionality is available to you. Advanced features, of course, you integrate with Microsoft Outlook, those programs, tremendously versatile product. And as you mentioned, Gabe, earlier in the presentation, really three parts to this. There's the discovery phase, the design phase, and the hard part, the delivery part. And that's where Call One really stands out in terms of the service that is provided to our partners and their clients.
I think so. I think it's just communicating, right? It's being able to have one person that's handling your account that you can call, that you have their direct number, you can talk to them, and they're familiar with your account. Too many times you explain your story, you call, and nothing makes the customer matter when they, okay, can you tell me again what's going on? You know, and it's frustrating even for me as a consumer when I call some of my providers, right? It's like, all right, I'm gonna tell my story for the 7th time again, and I'm not very happy. So having that one person that knows and is familiar with your account is a big, big separator for us.
So true. The pricing on this is phenomenal. You know, seats start as low as $16.95, as you mentioned, for the UC Basic. They go up from there. You have the opportunity to change phones anytime as needs change. This is tremendously versatile, both in terms of the pricing as well as the features. As we said from the start, this is a customizable product which can be different for every single client.
Absolutely. And within that pricing comes the basic phone too. So I think it's just, you know, having customers wrap their head around that they do not have to worry about the devices anymore. And so that's what we did, a lot of research, and we landed on those price points, and we've got a lot of feedback that it's very, very competitive, and we're winning a lot of deals, A, because of the price point, and B, because of the ability that we have to deliver the features and actually the service and the use of those features after we sold the product, right?
Well, it's a tremendously versatile offering, and I think the trick is simply to help our partners become most comfortable in talking with their clients about it. We've learned a lot today about what is available. On Thursday, we're going to go into an even greater deep dive at our 11 a.m. Eastern call with Call One and find out more about the ways in which partners can communicate both the needs and the benefits of Call One to their clients. You want to give us just a quick preview of where we'll go on Thursday?
Sure. So what I will be happy to show you is, you know, what the different clients look like, the mobile client, you know, just how easy it is to use the admin dashboard and to make changes, and just to basically interact with Call One to address the needs that are coming up and changing, you know, on day-to-day, normal day-to-day business. So.
This is the training ground for you. If you want to sell UC to your clients, you don't want to miss Call One's offering, and this is the chance to learn about it. Take the information you've learned today and join us on Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern, for the Call One Deep Dive presentation. It will definitely be worth your while. Gabe, Jason, thank you very much for the time today, for the great information, tremendous presentation. We're glad that you could be here today. We look forward to hearing from you again soon.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Doug. We appreciate it.
All right. And thanks to each of you, our Telarus partners, for your attendance and participation today. If you have suggestions for our weekly call, please email them to marketing@telarus.com. We will, of course, be back here next Tuesday with more. Till then, I'm Doug Miller, the voice of Telarus. Have a great selling week, everyone.